Things in Philadelphia are rapidly changing, as the news on their own practice field today could not be any better, while the news 2,875 miles to the west could not be any worse. Plus the huge advantage the Eagle players keep trying to tell us, but we all keep ignoring, why Vic Fangio is currently keeping Kyle Shanahan up late every single night, the desperate move the 49ers are trying to make to save their season. I'm Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. There were already so many advantages Philadelphia had entering this year's wildcard round that made me feel, honestly, pretty darn confident in the Birds' ability to beat the 49ers and advance in the playoffs. However, this week, both locker rooms have been desperately trying to warn us fans about some new developments that further tip the scales in Philadelphia's favor. And despite the fact that in the playoffs, Philadelphia's Achilles heel during the Sirianni era has technically been the wildcard round, plus, Brock Purdy, CMC, they're dangerous, I can't lie to you and pretend like the latest news out of both Philadelphia and San Francisco this morning, it heavily favors the Birds in more ways than one. First, though, it's your last chance to go ahead and enter the Wave 1 Sports Birds Apparel Hoodie giveaway. My next video, I'll announce the winner. I'm feeling very generous this weekend. I love these hoodies so much. So, one last chance to enter. Drop a like on today's video. Go down below, and why don't you comment why you think Philadelphia is going to win on Sunday. The one main reason you're confident, because you're going to win this bad boy, that's the way to enter. Oh, and quickly here, over 100 of you guys have used my 10% discount code to grab a hoodie like this on your own. If you're on the fence and want to grab one, my code BIRDSMOT runs out Saturday night. So you got, 2 more days, 3 more days, whatever it is, I'll link down below. Grab your hoodie today. Now, first things first, I said on Tuesday's show that Wednesday and Thursday's practices would be massive for both Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean's status to actually play on Sunday. And well, what do you know? Right off the bat, huge boots for the Birds, as both Lane and Nakobe Dean were out there, suited up, and looking pretty ready to roll. Of course, naturally, on the official injury report, they were both limited, along with Jalen Carter, Marcus Epps, and Dallas Goedert, but all signs are pointing to both playing Sunday, including straight from the mouth Nakobe Dean himself.
I knew it wasn't bad. I knew I probably wasn't able going to be. If I would have pushed it, I probably could even finish the game. But when they seen we had control of the game, it was like, nah, going to half, they was like, you good. No.
Just to confirm, you'll be out there Sunday.
Yeah.
One quick thing on Dean here, I think all of us have to, A, recognize this could be his final game in an Eagles uniform. The former third-round draft pick is a free agent this coming March. Despite plenty of calls, including myself, to bring him back in 2026, the addition of Jahad Campbell, plus the fact Dean has never gotten that first big, massive contract, could easily be enough to make him sign somewhere else. Obviously, that's a story for another day. We'll see what happens in the next couple of months, but it cannot be overstated just what he has meant to Vic Fangio's defense the past 2 seasons, and maybe, more importantly, more impressively right now, the fact that basically 1 year ago to the day, Nakobe Dean was exiting the Birds' wildcard game versus the Packers with a patellar tendon injury that most experts thought would basically end his career. And the fact that he not only came back as good, I think maybe even better than he was pre-injury, as gearing up for yet another wildcard game, is not lost on the Birds starting linebacker.
Me and BG was just talking about it. Me and BG, because BG was out that first game, and I went down that first game. It's exciting. I feel like the NFL playoffs is exciting. I was just reminding my smile today when I was talking to him. I'm like, look, it's only 14 teams being able to play right now in the playoffs. So a lot of people want to be where we at right now. So make sure we don't take it for granted. And I'm elated for sure.
And when you pair the Nakobe Dean news with the Lane Johnson news as well, the fact he practiced finally on Wednesday, it sure sounds like he's going to go ahead and play. We have not heard from the horse's mouth himself, but how about his teammates basically saying, yeah, we're pumped to have Lane back, and yes, secretly, he's probably going to play. I could go on and on about this stat or that stat to make you understand just how big it is to have Lane Johnson back, because obviously, you guys know by now, Philly wins a ton more games when Lane Johnson is out there. It's not that hard. But it really is just another added bonus for a Birds team that is really trying to go ahead and get on a hot streak, go on a run, and duplicate last season. And having Lane at right tackle, the voice in the locker room, in the huddle, man, this is such good news for Philadelphia.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Missed him. It was great to see him out there.
Does it give a boost to the whole line when you see Lane back out there?
100%. 100%. It's Lane Johnson.
You guys know Lane. Everybody knows Lane. He is a Hall of Famer. He's a stud. Speaks for itself, and having him back in the room just awesome from, his personality-wise, and just makes the room a little lighter. And, we love having him in there. I mean, he means so much to us. It's hard to put it into a comment and into a question. It's hard to say it exactly.
One final point, though, on the Birds injury report, 2 players did not practice yesterday. We'll see what happens later on this week. Grant Calcaterra, the hip drop tackle, it's an ankle officially. He did not practice. No idea if he plays on Sunday. And then Brett Toth suffered a concussion. Obviously, we'll see what happens with him going forward. But those were the 2 players that are in doubt. Everybody else, even the limited ones like Jalen Carter, they practice. They are going to play on Sunday. Philadelphia is 100% healthy. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of this video, Factor. Now, most of you guys know I just became a father. A 2-month-old baby is in the house, and she's fantastic. But if you're a parent and you had a kid, you obviously know this. Finding time to breathe, let alone cook a healthy meal every single day, it's pretty darn difficult. And so insert Factor, which has been a total lifesaver for me because they're America's #1 ready-to-eat meal company, delivering fresh, chef-crafted meals straight to my door. And first off, easily the best part, flavor. It is absolutely incredible. These aren't frozen meals. They're real food made without any refined seed oils or artificial junk. They even have gut-friendly options, protein options, we'll talk about that in a second, Mediterranean options, but a ton of different options that fit my crazy new dad lifestyle. And if you're like me, you like to work out and you also like to eat protein, their protein-packed meals are a game changer. Most have 30 to 50 grams of protein, which fuel my workouts and keep me full. The best part, they are ready in just 2 minutes. And obviously with Factor, there's no prep, there's no cleanup, no dishes. You can get a high-quality meal right when the baby goes to sleep. And even if she sleeps for 10 minutes, I can have it ready to go. I can eat it. I can enjoy it before she goes ahead and wakes up. So if you want to try them out, head to factor75.com. I'll link it down below right here, along with my promo code, or scan the QR code right over here. It's on your screen. It's all down below. But you'll get 50% off your first box, plus, and I double check this, free breakfast for 1 year. 1 box per active subscription, free meals applied as discount on the first box, new or returning subscribers only, and it varies by plan. Sign up today, try Factor, I think you're going to love it. Also apparently healthy is Philadelphia's latest edge rusher move as they activated Azeez Ojulari off injured reserve, and he practiced in full on Wednesday, so technically he could play versus the 49ers. Honestly though, I kind of forgot we even still had Azeez Ojulari, even though he was Philadelphia's most expensive offseason addition that paid off very little. I mean, come on, we have Jalen Phillips, we have BG. I doubt he plays on Sunday, but this was a very interesting move at a very interesting time. I guess at least he's added insurance. If, say, Philadelphia were to lose an edge rusher, knock on wood, on Sunday and advance, they have some extra bodies now waiting in the wings. Now, moving on, and one thing I think the Eagles locker room has been trying to explain to us this week in terms of us, the fans, how important it is the rest that they got this past week when Nick Sirianni decided to play the backups versus the Washington Commanders. Something I personally was against for a very long time, and yet we listen to guys like Jordan Mailata explain to the media how important it was. I've completely changed my tune. This is firing me up that they're going to be extra motivated and ready to go on Sunday.
Pretty important, pretty helpful to get this. I think we all carry injuries along the year, so entering games not at 100%, but it's not just the offensive line. I think just the team as a whole, the guys who do get rest on defense and on offense as well. So I think incredibly beneficial for us heading into this deep playoff push.
I feel great. I think that having a little break was definitely good to regenerate a little bit, but I was definitely itching to get on the field, so I'm excited to be back.
I feel like it's like the 20th rest question. I'm very excited for this week. My body feels great. It's playoffs, man. It's 0-0. Forget what we did last week or what we did the previous 18 weeks. So, I mean, whoever out there is out there, and we're excited to rip and run.
And to add more on top of that, how about Lane Johnson's BFF, Brian Baldinger, who really speaks for basically all the Eagle offensive linemen because they are that close, telling the guys on WIP yesterday that he's heard the rest did wonders, especially for the offensive linemen, in more ways than we realize.
The question last week was whether to rest or to play. And what I hear is the guys that rested feel really good. And had they played, maybe they don't feel as good as they do. Now, maybe that's just a mental thing, but I feel like a lot of these guys on the defensive line, offensive lines, they feel a lot better right now having rested, and maybe that produces a much better performance, and maybe they get some movement on the offensive line, and, Saquon gets some, runways to go through and whatnot. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I've already talked about the past couple of videos how important it's going to be to establish the run because the Niner run defense is not that great. But what if, and this is obviously a hope, there's no guarantee this is happening, but what if this rest gets Philadelphia's offensive line to be 10% better. The push up front, the real problem with Philadelphia's offense, minus the play calling Cam Patullo, the push up front from Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. What if it's better on Sunday? Against this bad defensive line for the 49ers, as we'll see, another defensive lineman out. We'll talk about that. Maybe that means Saquon Barkley could have the Saquon Barkley type postseason run we saw from 2024. Again, it's just a hope, but Philadelphia running the football, that is clearly a key to victory. Come on, offensive line. You got the rest. You guys are all healthy. Get out there, pave the lane, if you will, and get 2-6 absolutely rolling. Now, from all the good injury news in Philadelphia, over to Niner land, and my goodness, look at this list of players not on the field at practice in San Francisco yesterday. Obviously, a ton of big names here, but there's one big one, and that is left tackle Trent Williams, who seems to be dealing with a very serious hamstring injury to the point that not only is he not going to practice Wednesday, sounds like Thursday as well, and Ian Rappaport told the NFL Network this morning his status for Sunday is very much in jeopardy.
I think it's fair to say his status is in doubt for this weekend's 49ers game, which is really troubling news for the 49ers dealing with a hamstring injury. Did not practice Wednesday of a game week. And what you guys are seeing around the league now is everyone's getting healthy, right? If you can somehow put yourself on the field, you are practicing on Wednesday. Kyle Shanahan said simply Trent Williams is hurt. He's still hurt. It's a hamstring, and because he's enormous, it's a huge hamstring. We will check his status throughout the week. Not a good sign for the 49ers.
The 49ers historically are 4-13 in games that Trent Williams does not play. He's basically their Lane Johnson, and if he can't go, or let's say he does play and he's, it's 70% on that injured hamstring, this is an unbelievable boost for the 49ers that non-49er fans really cannot quite understand. I mean, this could be massive for the edge rushers in Philadelphia to go make Brock Purdy's day as miserable as possible. And that's not all. All their linebackers are still hurt. Most of them did not practice yesterday. Ricky Pearsall did not practice yesterday. One of their starting defensive tackles tweaked his knee in practice. He's now questionable. It's crazy. I almost feel bad. I don't feel bad because I want to crush the 49ers. We hate the 49ers, but holy cow, if this was Philadelphia, we would be absolutely at DEFCON 1. I mean, San Francisco, even yesterday, went to the unbelievable level of signing former Eagle 2022 linebacker, someone that we actually liked back then, Kaiser White, off the, bench. Off the street. He's been a free agent the past couple of weeks. He is now on this roster and is going to try to add a pulse to that completely decimated linebacker unit. And again, I'm not saying Philadelphia is guaranteed to win on Sunday, but their list of excuses is 100% growing thin because, holy cow, the injuries in San Francisco, they are absolutely brutal. And that does lead us into perhaps maybe the number one reason Philadelphia should win on Sunday, injuries aside, and that is Vic Fangio, who has faced a Kyle Shanahan offense 4 times throughout his career. And in those 4 games, look at this. Vic Fangio's unit held Shanahan's offense to 11, 6, 15, and 9 points. And I think no one else better explained how opposing offensive coordinators view Vic Fangio right now with this Eagles defense better than Peter Schrager on ESPN just yesterday.
The name that isn't mentioned enough on our shows everywhere that gives them fear. And I'm talking, Shanahan has publicly said it, McVay tells me often, they lay awake at night thinking of Vic Fangio.
And it's not just historically versus Vic Fangio. How about Kyle Shanahan this year versus good or bad defenses? It's perfectly summed up by the chart you see on your screen right here, as they have over a 50% offensive success rate versus defenses like Tennessee, Chicago, and Arizona. And then the 2 good defenses they faced the past 2 months, Cleveland and Seattle, that success rate dropped into the mid-30s.
Vic schematically he's always been the best to me, as good as anyone there is. Has a very sound scheme. That he doesn't need to change up very much. It just naturally changes with how he does his coverages, how he does his fronts, the personnel groupings he does. He's very good at getting a beat on what you're trying to do and making you adjust.
If Philadelphia can just get an average day by their offense, literally, go back to the Green Bay game in the wild card round last year. That was an average day by the offense. Didn't score a ton of points. Saquon pretty bottled up until the end. They get that performance, they're going to win. Because I feel so confident in the Birds defense, but if they lay an egg on Sunday on offense, you get a low-scoring 13-10 game that hinges on some sort of crazy turnover. It could get a little bit scary. But of course, that does mean the offense must find another gear. You go back to, let's say, the Bill game, and the offense did not really score as much as we would have liked. Defense won that game. Historically, though, it has been the case that in both 2022 and 2024 in the postseason, Philadelphia's offense averaged 7 more points per game in the playoffs than they did in the regular season. I think better than anyone else, the Birds QB1 has embodied that level of turning it up in the playoffs, I think better than anybody right now currently in the NFL.
High-stakes games. Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
That's in you.
I'm just answering your question. I mean, obviously it's 0-0. It's a new season. Got everything you want in front of you, but you got to take it a day at a time.
Now, lastly, I want to address this tweet from the always accurate, said with a ton of sarcasm, athletic reporter Diana Rossini, who talked about the firing of John Harbaugh from the Ravens the other day and his potential landing spots by saying, quote, on John Harbaugh, he has interest from most teams with head coaching vacancies. But notably, I'm told calls are coming in from a few places that currently have a head coach in place. Lots of discussions going down tonight. Harbaugh will be at the top of many teams' wish lists. And that's led a lot of Eagle fans on social media to say the Eagles are one of these teams calling John Harbaugh just in case they were to lose on Sunday, they could fire Nick Sirianni and then sign John Harbaugh. And well, listen, I like John Harbaugh. I think he's had, not as much success as people think that he has in recent years. Hasn't won a big playoff game, but that's whatever. I think he's definitely going to go to one of these other football teams, like say the Giants or the Falcons. Those are serious landing spots. But I also don't see Nick Sirianni being fired no matter what the outcome is on Sunday versus San Francisco. I mean, even if they got blown out, like let's just say they get blown out, Sirianni just won a Super Bowl last season and likely would just have to accept the firing of Kevin Patullo in order to go ahead and keep his job as head coach. Now, crazier things have happened to former Super Bowl winning head coaches in Philadelphia. You know that. I know that. But currently, and things can change, I think Sirianni is safe. KP, however, not so much. Which, by the way, on the KP front, quickly here, Mike McDaniel, I know you just got fired, today from the Dolphins? That's a bummer. But any chance you'd wait just to see what happens in Philadelphia before you make your decision? Hopefully in like a month, but it could technically be Sunday evening. I don't know. Mike McDaniel, he's available now. A lot of Eagles want him. Is it worth a shot? Now, of course, plenty more stuff happening next couple of days and weeks, including one more show this week. It'll be my preview show where I will give away this said hoodie, whether you want it in Kelly green like this one or black or white or gray. There's a ton of different options. So get your entry in down below and I'll announce that winner on my next show. And of course, we're streaming the game on Sunday. So come hang out. I go live about 4 o'clock. Man, I'm getting nervous, but the playoffs are here. I'm pumped. I think you guys are too. This is all good news for Philadelphia. We will see what happens. Thomas Mott on a Thursday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.